Hi everyone. So this is really a follow on from the video that I did the other day about how much I make with silver and how much you can buy with silver, for example. So my title was for example, how much silver can you buy with a $70 paycheck, which I get from YouTube a month minimum, for example. And I really want to do this as an encouragement. So today's video, I want to welcome you all back, and it's about stacking silver. It's about stacking silver. And it's about the small amount of $70. I know that it seems small, for example, but small amounts, little by little, you can build something. It's like when you're building a house, you build it little by little, right? You don't just build it all in one big lump sum, do you? You build it step by step. And I see this as my silver strategy. My 10-year strategy is building silver over a 10-year strategy, for example. So with my $70 budget that I get from YouTube, for example, monthly, I always make sure that I use this to spend on silver, for example. And most people think that, for example, that you need to invest lots of money into silver at once. No, you don't. And it's certainly not a get rich quick scheme either. That's a myth as well. You can start with just $35. That's right, $35 will buy you one ounce silver coin, for example. So, like I said, my YouTube check, that's what I do is I buy silver coins with that. And I do this every single month. So let me talk about the numbers. And I spoke about the numbers in my previous video because there is a video where I talk about undervalued communities, about what we'd never been taught to invest in things like gold and silver and shares and things like that. We wasn't brought up that way. We've just been brought up to work, do 2, 3 jobs, for example, buy a car on credit. Everything is on credit. You know, your jewelry, your designer clothes, etc. That's how we've been taught, for example. And like I said, most people think that we need to be rich to invest in silver, and you don't. It's a myth. I believe that silver is for the people. It's the people's gold, silver. And like I said, I keep saying, silver is like the tortoise that's going to win the race. So you need to watch out for this. The hair is the gold, for example, right now, but silver is going to become a lot more than what gold is going to be. That is my belief because of how we use it in our everyday lives. We need it. We need it. We can't do without silver. Now we've got computers, now we've got our mobile phones, we've got AI, we've got chips, we've got solar panels, we've got renewable energy, we've got medical equipment, we have got electronic vehicles, and so on and so forth. Our tech that we use, our computers, etc., is all using silver. So imagine we're using this even more now. It's sped up even more. Before we were just kind of like dabbling with it, 10, 20 years ago. Now, we have gone clear. It is like something that is being used every single day, and majority of households are using silver. It's everywhere in business and everything. So this is my favorite, is silver. So what can you get for $70? So let me walk you through that. So with $70, depending on the spot prices of what silver is, what the premiums are, you usually buy 2 or 3 1 ounce coins, for example. Depends really where you're getting it from. You can get it from a coin dealer, if you're getting a one that's circulated, for example, or you can get them like I get them brand new bullions, for example. Okay, so there's also the government minted ones like the Britannia, for example, or there's fractional rounds and bars if you want variety. And I would suggest get the variety, get it in your hand. There's nothing better than having this physical in your hands. It just feels something powerful. Okay, now listen, even the supermarkets are selling this. Okay, so we got Costco in America, they are selling it. They won't be selling gold and silver if it wasn't, the thing now. Let me tell you, the banks, the Federal Reserves, the governments, the Treasury departments, they are buying this. And when they're buying it, they're not buying it an ounce at a time, like is what I do. They're buying it by the ton, by tons. Like the van loads, for example, whole haulage truckload of silver or gold, for example. They're buying it in that way. And they've got deliveries that are taking 8 weeks for them to actually receive their gold. That's how much everyone is asking for their gold and silver back, because they want it in their physical possession, not have to go and get it from another country, for example, and then have it shipped over, and it's going to take 8 to 12 weeks. So it's being depleted. It is being depleted. The gold mines and silver mines are being depleted. They're saying with the silver mines, for example, that they have only got 20 years left of silver, unless we get a meteorite land in our vicinity, which I hope it doesn't, because that could be dangerous, then, or they find gold and silver underneath the surface, deep, deep down. But they've got to drill really, really deep for that to find this. This is why Donald Trump has been speaking about deep sea mining. Deep sea mining. What will that have on the environment? I do not know, and I won't get into that in this video, but I will talk about that, for example. But we do have gold and silver, but it's hard to get to. It's so deep down in the ground that we can't get to it, so we have to use what's on the surface, that's come up on the surface, and then it has to be treated, for example, the veins and what have you. So let me continue into this. So let me get back into my $70 a month paycheck from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, every month for giving me a check. I really appreciate this, because this is helping me to build my retirement fund, for example, or have a backup plan, crisis plan, which is what I say to everybody, to make sure that you're doing that. I did do a video last year, August, September, where I was saying that we need to do a crisis plan, because we never know what's going to happen in this economic time of uncertainty that we're all experiencing, for example. So within a year, I'll have 24 ounces of silver, for example, or more. And that's a mini emergency fund for a physical metal. And you don't need to change your life or your income for this. Look, see? That's what I have. I've got these here. And so what we need to look at is fast forward, okay? If I keep getting $70 a month, silver per month from YouTube for the next 10 years, for example, I could, or you could, stack over 240 ounces of silver. If silver rises to $50 or more, which it should do by then, in the next decade, which many analysts and experts believe. I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor, I am just a woman who is coming up to 60 that's looking at protecting her retirement fund. Okay? So if you want financial advice about investing, etc., then you need to speak to a financial advisor. Okay? So that's a whopping 12,000 or more in physical assets alone. In physical assets alone. Okay? So imagine that. 10 years, 8,400 you purchased, but you are getting a profit on top of that of 12,000 minimum, for example. And if the silver, which I believe hits $100, like some analysts have predicted, then you do the maths. That's a lot, right? So why does this matter? Because nearly half of the people 55 to 66 years old have zero savings, and many of us from excluded or undervalued communities were never taught to save or build with tangible assets, with silver. So we haven't been taught about this. This is like a hidden secret here. Silver. So we were told to save. We were told that you're going to get a pension, maybe a 401k, or maybe you got a private pension, state pension, for example. But now these systems are looking shaky right now. Silver is like a backup plan, and it could be yours too. So if you are starting with $70 a month, or even $35 a month, you could get started straight away rather than be left behind. Get ahead of the game, for example, and let's stack one coin at a time together. Subscribe to the stacking for stacking tips, for example, to my channel. And if you want my 10-year stacking calculator, then drop a word stack in the comments and I will send that over to you straight away. So that concludes my video, and I just wanted to share what I bought with my $70 paycheck from YouTube. This is what I buy every single month, and it's stacking up. So thank you so much. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.